everyone in the audience is kindly asked to register and collect their free copies of the books To the Youth of India, Vivekanand, This Call to the Nation, and Personality Development from Outside. A very good afternoon to one and all present. After a very knowledgeable start of BYC 2012, we are back on the second day with richer talks and more exciting events. Our first speaker for the day is Dr. Vikram Singh. Dr. Singh, 1974 IAS, is currently the Vice Chancellor of Noida International University. After a long service career, recently served as DGP UP State, he retired in May 2010. Sir completed his MSc from Allahabad University in 1972 and PhD in Ecology from Humayun University in 1990. During his service, he has twice received President's Police Medal for his long distinguished and meritorious services. He has also authored 2 books, namely Ecosystems of Central Himalayas and the other one on human rights and police. He is rated as a star speaker on issues related to security, man management, team building, etc. He has been a guest speaker at over 50 renowned institutes like IIM Lucknow, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, RML Law University, to name a few. Sir, we are indeed privileged to have you with us today. In Swamiji's words, according to Karma Yoga, the action one has done cannot be destroyed until it has borne its fruit. No power in nature can stop it from yielding its results. If I do evil action, I must suffer for it. There is no power in this universe to stop or stay it. Similarly, if I do a good action, there is no power in this universe which can stop its bearing good results. The cause must have its effects. Nothing can prevent or restrain this. Taylor Swift has quoted, "Fearless is getting up and fighting for what you wanted over and over again, even though every time you have tried before, you have lost." There seems to be a very strong and intuitive connection between the foresaid virtues, Karma Yoga and fearlessness, which would be enumerated extensively by Dr. Singh. Sir, I now take this opportunity to request you to come up on the stage and address the gathering.
Respected sir, and my dear young friends, a very good afternoon to all of you, and heartiest good wishes, felicitations on Swamiji's 150th birthday celebrations. Friends, my blessings and good wishes to Shubhadeep ji, Indramani ji, and Sayan ji, and the group, the focused group of young warriors who have decided to make this happen and to hold a function for which all of us can be justifiably proud. There was a hint of remorse. I can read faces at my age, I can read faces. That the numbers may not be very many, but the numbers are not what is required. I have seen that in a get-together like this, the numbers will always be as many. But if tomorrow there was to be an invitation for a rain dance, there would be a lathi charge kind of an atmosphere at the outer gates. If there is a fashion pageant, there will be a lathi charge kind of an atmosphere. Crime, hedonism, violence, and the neurotic pursuit of material things is what that has taken possession of. I don't possess material, material has started possessing me now. Whatever, in the words of Swamiji, if you can give me gingerbread, like all babies, if you can give me a chocolate, it is good. If it cannot give me gingerbread or chocolate, it is bad. Now, a police officer has a unique distinction of facing near-death experience, which only a surgeon can have or a police officer can have. And I have taken pains to see who are the people who are fearless, who are the people who are courageous. There is a very subtle difference between courageous and fearless. In Hindi, there is a term, abhay and nirbhay. Nirbhay is a person who is totally fearless, and abhay is one who is courageous. All of us have our scares, all of us have our fears. I have been shot at twice. I am not scared of death, but I am very scared of a small lift. Even today, when I have to take a lift which is small and cramped, it is claustrophobic, I take stairs. I will go march and run up to the 10th floor, but I will not take a small lift. I am prepared to take a bullet, yes, without batting an eyelid. But let me say that I am mortally scared and petrified. If I were to take a small lift to the 10th floor, I would rather walk up to the 10th floor. This is just to tell you, to be courageous is one thing. When I take bullets, let me see who's going to fire. Come on, fire, let me see. It will be either you or me. That is there. But when it comes to a take lift, I think I will go. I will take the stairs. I will not go into the lift. Napoleon, one of the bravest military generals the world has ever seen. His horse has been shot at. 3 times his horse was shot dead in battles. Never scared of anything. To the contrary, he said, how many times has a helmet been struck by cannonball? How many times has a horse been shot dead? And unless that happened, Napoleon did not pick up a general. But you know how he lost the fatal war? Napoleon was absolutely scared of jungle cats. And in the Battle of Waterloo, somebody collected 100 black cats and threw them on the battlefield. Napoleon lost his nerve, and by the time he could capture his nerves, he had already lost the battle. My dear students, I have seen people who are absolutely fearless, and let me tell you the gist first. Unless you are a Karma Yogi in Swamiji's terms, you cannot be fearless. Nothing will challenge you. The people who are Karma Yogis, when they attain my age, they say, I am awaiting my call from the Almighty. I am awaiting my call from the Almighty. Let death come. As Swamiji said, death, I welcome thee with open arms. Then there are those I know who belong to a community that does not take onion and garlic, that does not eat non-veg food. But when they have attained, I will not take names, my age, they start taking wine. They start taking a particular variety of fish, a particular variety of chicken. Why? You know why? Bhai Sahib, I don't want to die. For the whole life you have been a pure vegetarian, not taking onion and garlic. Now merely because of the fact that at the age of 60 you find you want to add another 20 years to your life, you have completely sacrificed the beliefs in which you were born, in which you lived for 60 years, merely because you say, Bhai Sahib, I don't want to die. I am getting a crore every day by way of interest on my death. I don't know whether I will be born again, whether there is another life. I don't want to die. You can see death writ large. He dies every moment and every day. That man does not know he is under a fan and say, "Aisa na ki pankha mere upar gir jaye." He will put his bed from away from the place where the fan is. He will have phobias and manias, the type of which, if he were to narrate that story, will make me a neurotic. Karma Yoga teaches us that when the day comes, when the final reckoning comes, you have the satisfaction of a life nobly lived and a duty well done. You have no regrets, since no translation can do justice to the original. As a sadhu said, जब मृत्यु नृत्य बन जाए तो समझिए आपने अपना जीवन यथार्थ में बताया. और अगर जीवन नृत्य न बने, जब मृत्यु से आप भयाक्रांत हो, when you are scared and petrified of death, there is some lacuna in the way you have lived your life. मौत तो आनी ही, आज आए, कल आए, परसों आए. This is the most certain thing. A Karma Yogi realizes that the quality of life is determined not by my bank balance or the number of cars that I may have. The quality of life is determined what are the things that I have been able to collect, which death cannot snatch away from me. How many smiles have I been able to give to my fellow men? How many tears have I been able to wipe? What service have I been able to render? During the course of my interaction, I will certainly give you certain examples from real life, how this can be practiced, as Swamiji says. Swamiji says that the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, verses 12 and 13, they tell us what yajna is. What is the duty of every individual? The difference between joy and fun. It is said that a person who gives is the ultimate winner. But we, sir, have been programmed into becoming something like a blotting paper. Wherever I go, I want to sponge you, I want to take something from you. Whenever I shake hands with you, in the process of the handshake, I want to remove 2 of your fingers and keep it in my pocket. During the course of that handshake, this is known as the Chaurya Pravritti. Where I go, I become a robber. As Swami Vivekananda Maharaj said, our lives have become a life like that of a dog that has strayed into the kitchen. I am scared lest the master comes, give me 2 blows and throw me out of the kitchen. I should realize that I am a tiger. I own the place. I don't have to be scared of anything. I don't have to be petrified of anything. As a dog that has strayed into the kitchen, how beautifully he survives. This is the quality of the life that we have created. It doesn't matter whether I am riding a pedestrian or I am riding a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce. An Urdu poet has said, I will translate it first, the original. Pashmina posh jismon mein ruh tar tar dekhi. I have seen people draped in pashminas, but their soul is non-existent. Pashmina posh jismon mein रूह तार तार देखी और गरीब के झोपड़े में रूह गुलजार देखी. There's a poignant story of a sadhu, and it was raining cats and dogs, and a man entered and he knocked. The wife of the sadhu said, how can we allow? There is no space, because this is a hermit's cottage. It is not a king's palace. It is a poor man's cottage, it is not a king's palace. There will always be room for the needy and the destitute. Allow him to come. We are lying down, we can sit down. There was another knock. Another destitute came. Then we can, of course, huddle up and stand up, because it's a sadhu's cottage, and still they allow. There was a time, sir, they said, Mehman aaye to khana khaun. Mehman aaye तो खाना खाऊं, और आज मेहमान जाए तो खाना खाऊं. This is what the transformation has come about in our mindset. People who were living almost at below the poverty line had the mindset, मेहमान आए तो 2 रोटी है, बांट के खा ली. Today I don't know the number of crores that I have in my bank, whatever is rotting in my fridge, but I await the mehman to go away. My brother to go away, my destitute uncle and aunts to go away, tab khana kha. America mein, the children do not know the words mausa, mausi, phupa, nani. नहीं मालूम क्या होते हैं, I don't know ये होते क्या है. Zoo में होते हैं, क्या होते हैं, I don't know. क्योंकि वहां पे there's a nuclear family. पापा है तो मम्मी नहीं, मम्मी है तो पापा नहीं. अगर मम्मी पापा मिल गए तो समझ में बहुत मिले. एक साथ अगर मम्मी पापा मिल गए. 65% divorces. Each man and each person for himself. No contribution to anybody's happiness. 10 credit cards, 5 cars, 2 flats, but not a spouse, not a child. Absolute vanity, leading you to nowhere. Talking of America, nothing wrong. I've also studied there. No, nothing wrong. But I find that the certain chemistry thing, when there is a neurotic pursuit for consumers, 10 years changes the total chemistry of the person in the US. There was a book on Naibar, sir. Whatever human civilization can think of, America has got today. Whatever comfort level anybody could have possibly thought of, America has it today. And that is because today it has become the Eldorado of all youngsters like you. Why youngsters like you? It is an Eldorado for senior citizens like me. If there is paradise on earth, it is not Kashmir, it is America. Do we realize that thousands of tons of tranquilizers are required to put America to sleep every night? Millions of liters of alcohol must go to put America to sleep every night. The divorce being 65%, suicides being 40,000 suicides per year. इससे अच्छे तो हमारे बस्तर के ट्राइबल्स who live on berries and fruits, as Bhartihari Vairagya Shatakaya Swamiji says, has the Himalayas gone away? Has the springs dried up? Have the jungle roots gone away? That we should go with a begging bowl to America or to other places. Read the Karma Yoga of Swami Vivekananda and break your begging bowls once and for all and become an emperor and a samrat which you all are. Swamiji will convert all of you into kings and emperors. This society and the new learning sir has converted us and made us all into beggars to look for crumbs in USA and elsewhere. Whereas our empire is right here. A foolish man looks for happiness elsewhere, and a wise and intelligent man like you makes happiness grow underneath his feet if he's a Karma. Somebody asked Swamiji in the US, Swamiji, I have an orange, my happiness is an orange. I squeeze it dry. What about your happiness? My happiness is eternal like the Ganga. I get so much of happiness that I distribute it. And I have been distributing it for hundreds and thousands of years, and I continue to distribute thousands of years because we are Karma yogis. Be not selfish. Unselfishness is the motto. जो बांटता है वो पहुंच जाता है और जो बटोरता है वो चूक जाता है. One who collects is the ultimate loser. And as the Bhagavad Gita says, that those who participate in yajna, the unseen hands, the hidden powers, load him with everything. Swami Vivekananda Ji Maharaj was very fond of quoting the biblical saying, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. First, be good, be moral, be upright, be a Karma yogi, and then see how the hidden hand of providence load you with everything. फिर जो कुछ करोगे अच्छा ही करोगे. सुफल, सफल नहीं, सफल तो चोर भी होता है. वो कोई सक्सेस नहीं है. Suphal, everything what you do, whatever you touch will become gold. Whatever you touch will become grand. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. Here today, sir, we have put the cart before the horse. First get all the things that the world has to offer, and if you are lucky and attain my age, then get a temple constructed, then seek ye first the kingdom of God when you attain my age. What should come at your age now, seek ye first the kingdom of God, can be postponed till you attain the age of 60 plus and become a senior citizen. The whole priority is jinxed. I had the opportunity of asking a few youngsters, what would you like to become? 40% of them answered, I would like to become a smuggler or a mafia, a contract killer. So this is the wish list of our youngsters. I want to become a mafia. I want to become a gangster, thanks to our films. And the rest said, I want to become a film actor. Nobody wanted to be a surgeon. Nobody wanted to be a social worker. Nobody wanted. Is this the role model that we have? Well, that is why Shubhadeep, Indramani and Sayan, do not go in for crowds. Crowds are found in jackals and hyenas. Tigers and lions live alone. And they are sufficient to turn the tide. They are sufficient to convert. They are sufficient to move mountains. Bithur must be very close by. You must have been to Bithur. In the 1857 mutiny, there was a Mauni Baba living there. The Britishers were hunting for all the rebellious people and people who had worked against the British Empire. They probably thought that this man is a spy of the rebel forces. They interrogated, but he was a Mauni Baba, he did not answer. The British captain, Brian Breglini, pulled out a bayonet. Bayonet is the huge knife that is kept on top of the rifle. He pulled out the rifle and just stabbed the Mauni Baba 10 times. And for the first time in 25 years, the Mauni Baba spoke and he said, Tat Tum Asi, thou art that. You can't cheat me, you may come in the form of an assassin, but I see that you are God. This is not a parable, this is a real life story. Please, when you go to Bithur, ask for that Mauni Baba's temple, who said, I am being stabbed, Tat Tum Asi. Then, there was a story of a Naga Sadhu. When Porus invaded India by the river banks, he wanted him to either go with him to Macedonia or either give him some information. And when the Sadhu declined, he said, I will kill you, that this is the biggest blasphemy that you ever committed. I wasn't born, you cannot kill me, you cannot coerce me. Ultimately, Alexander was greatly impressed by the Sadhu. What can I give to Maharaj? What can I give you, Sadhu? If you want really to give me something, keep away from the sun that I'm getting. Keep away from the sunlight that I'm getting from the sun. But how can I have that equanimity, that peace of mind which you have? Even in the face of death, you are so unmoved. How can I get that? So come down, sit down, and I'll make you perfect in 2 weeks. Unka, let me go to Patliputra, let me conquer the world, and I'll come back. Alexander, you will never come back. The history and the story of all Alexanders in this world, and that your and my stories are, first you must conquer the world, get married, have children, have a bank balance, and then return to become karma yogis. That will be the day. Because every moment that I touch, every moment that I go forward, instantly weds me to money, power, and fame. And this is the infection that never goes away. We get possessed by the material. If I have a Mercedes car, I've seen people taking tranquilizers before they go into their Rolls Royces and Mercedes, because if there is a scratch, it will break their heart. If the child were to have an accident, perhaps that would not be as big a calamity as if the Rolls Royce or the Mercedes gets a dent on the bonnet. Swami Ramakrishna Paramahansa Ji Maharaj, we are told a story that one another saint came to him with 1,000 gold coins. He said, Maharaj, I want to give them to you. So what will I do with the 1,000 gold coins? I have not touched money for years and I don't touch money at all. What you do, go and throw them into the Ganga and then come to me. That man did not return for 4 hours. Ramakrishna Paramahansa Maharaj said, what happened? Has he himself drowned himself? And then the man came running to Ramakrishna Paramahansa Maharaj and said, Maharaj, he is counting every gold coin and throwing it into the net. How ridiculous. When he was collecting the gold coin, that was the time to count. But when you are throwing away the gold coin, you should throw it in one go. But old habits die hard. He could not possibly muster the courage to throw all the 1,000 coins in one go. And therefore he was throwing it one by one. So there is another story of Kanpur again. Many years ago, there was a very wealthy man in Kanpur. A very wealthy man. He was known as the Nagar Seth, perhaps one of the wealthiest men in Kanpur. There was a plague epidemic and people went to him and said, Sethji, there is an epidemic. If you could contribute to the cause of the treatment of the poor and the destitute, we'd be grateful. Unka, contribute to the cause of the poor and the destitute and become one like you. You know the hard work that I have put in and my institution that has put in to make me the Nagar Seth, and you want me to make me your rickshaw puller like you. Nothing doing, I will not give you a rupee. After a couple of weeks, the Sethji's wife caught plague. So people said, have her treated. So Sethji treated her with Chyawanprash and the Ayurvedic medicine, but did not give her the formal regular treatment which she required. The Sethji take her to some place, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras for proper treatment. The look, I can get another wife if she was to go to the other world. But where will I get the money if I were to invest on treatment? The wife also died of plague. And after a couple of weeks, the Sethji himself was infected with it. So Sethji, you get yourself treated. Look, I have a chance of dying a Nagar Seth or dying a pauper. I would rather not get treated and become a pauper. I would rather die as a former Nagar Seth. So one day when the Sethji saw that the end was near, he collected all his jewelry, diamonds, money, gold, and at the dead of night went to the Ganga Ji, Sarsaiya Ghat, and asked the boatman, will you take me midstream? Yes, I will take you. So how much will you take? I will take 5 rupees. Those were good times. 5 rupees took you very far. Will you not give me 50% discount? Okay. You take a 50% discount. When the Sethji reached the midstream, you want to get down here? He said, no. But will you take those two? Will you not answer the last wish of a dying man? Will you not excuse this 250 rupees? Will you not forego these 250 rupees also? Sethji, whatever pleases you. I brought you, that's why you don't give the 250 rupees also. Then the Sethji took all his money, all his jewelry, and then took a jal samadhi. He jumped into the river. This is what ultimately happened to all the people who are Midas, who are misers, who are the Nagar states. Too much of emphasis is laid on worldly comforts. Too much of emphasis is laid on worldly wealth. Ultimately, it dries up the relationship between the husband and the wife, the father and the son, brother and the brother. I have seen in real life, sir, those who are not karma yogis, who do not treat wealth as a thing to be distributed, but to be spent on oneself. That people are excellent human beings. Till the time they are middle class. It's not a better, it's from my own family experience. But they go to Dubai, they go to US, make their millions. Suddenly they find that if it is my worthwhile to speak to you, if you are higher than me in status and in money wealth, only then I will invest in my time and money on you. If there is no way that I can gain advantage from you, I know way that I see that you can be a platform in my growth, I will have no relations with you. You must have heard the story, a real story of an IIT boy going to USA and the 2 to 3 bedrooms. Heard of that? There was a section officer. Section officer is a low government employee in Delhi. That government employee invested on the education of his children. One son, educated him, and he joined the IIT and he became an engineer. And went to America. Made lots of money, sir. Made lots of money. In America, he got married to an American girl. Wonderful. So be it. Had 2 children. One day he got a message that mother serious, but he was in the very formative years of his career. So it's not possible to come. I am sending you the money for treatment. Mother dies. Same happening with the father. Father very ill. Look, you are in the takeoff stage. You have to establish a new project, a new factory. You send the money for treatment. Money sent, but the neighbors ultimately see to it that the father, the last rites of the father, the son could not ultimately come back from USA to attend to the funeral of his father. Over the years, this boy has 2 children. The daughter marries a drummer who was a drug addict, and the son ultimately also turns out to be a drug addict. After 40 years or like, he comes back to Delhi, purchases a flat in Haus Khas, a 3-bedroom flat. In the 40 years I have lost my parents, an uneasy conscience. My children do not belong to me. And what have I added? One bedroom to my father's two bedrooms. Let this not tragedy happen to anyone. Please keep the priorities straight. Please keep the priorities straight. Swamiji, in his book Karma Yoga, I would strongly recommend, has given us examples of who is the best, if you are a householder or a sannyasi. In the first chapter, Swamiji says, when he says that selfishness is the core deficiency. Be unselfish. Be right. Be correct. He narrates the story of a sannyasi who goes to the Raja, and the Raja, then the king asks him, who is greater? Is it a sannyasi or a householder? And both are good in their own respective places. They demonstrate this to me. So the sannyasi takes the Raja to a neighboring kingdom where the princess was having a swayamvar, and there was another sadhu, a very handsome, young, vibrant, in whose eyes you could see the Almighty. Not like my eyes where you can see in the India's most wanted. You could see God in the eyes of that sannyasi. The princess, after looking at all the princes who had come for the swayamvar, placed the garland in the neck of the sadhu. Sadhu, what nonsense! I have announced the word, and this is, I am not a part, I am just a spectator. And he threw away the garland. The king probably thought, the princess's father, that perhaps the sannyasi is too poor to marry princess. He will get half my kingdom now and half the kingdom when I die. He just walked away. Your kingdom does not interest me at all. Both the king and the sannyasi go to a forest, and the princess also followed them. That sannyasi, of course, went away in the forest, never to be traced, but these three, the princess started weeping. The king and the sannyasi said, look, it is late, I will take you back tomorrow. There was a bird, the bird's wife, and two children staying atop. Okay, we have guests here and it's cold. Let us do something to look after them. They are hungry. So the papa bird dropped first a fire, lit a fire for them. As there is nothing to eat, he sacrificed himself as food for the king and the sannyasi. The mama bird also saw that since he had won the food insufficient, she also dropped into the fire and burnt herself up. The children, when they saw this, they also said, now that the parents are gone, we must also feed the guests, and they also ultimately perished. Of course, the king and the sannyasi did not consume the birds, but they were absolutely spellbound at the sacrifice shown by these mute creatures. Then the sannyasi said, look, if you are a sannyasi, then you should have it in you that you should be able to renounce the hand of the most bewitching, beautiful princess and a vibrant kingdom. Then you are a sannyasi. Not like the sannyasis of today. ये building किसकी है कि ये महाराज स्वामी जी की building. When the Swamiji goes to the Astha channel, he goes to a beautician first to get up his jatas done. Then the first weekend is for the Mataji from England, and the second weekend of the month is from Mataji from America, and the third weekend is from Mataji from Australia. Different Matajis for different weekends. So this is the kind of Swamijis that we have. If you are a householder and you are always ready to sacrifice whatever you have for the benefit of society, for the benefit of your day. Swamiji goes ahead to say that if you are a soldier, if you are a citizen, and give the supreme sacrifice for your nation and society, you attain the same benefits as a saint would, as a sannyasi would in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi or in the pathway of meditation. मातृभूमि पर शीश चढ़ाने जिस पथ जाए वीर अनेक, जो वीर गति को प्राप्त होते हैं, those who die for the nation and society are the ultimate heroes. But to die like a hero, you have to be absolute steel. Am I right, Major? You have to be steel inside. Cowards don't die, they run away. And if you are steel, nothing will ever waver you. I have seen the most crooked of mafia who did not think twice before slaughtering and butchering people. They say that I am brave. They are not brave. This is certainly not bravery. Killing innocents is not bravery. This is being foolhardy. And the same mafia and gangsters and contract killers, when they were asked to be sentenced to be hanged, the last formality is there a last wish? Is there any way that I can fulfill your last wish? Most of the people say, could I speak to my wife? Could I speak to my father? This man starts crying hysterically like a child. I said, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die, sir. Please give me a lease of 24 hours. Please give me a lease of 48 hours. What happened to the hundreds and dozens of people whom you slaughtered? What happened to the dozens of people whom you killed in cold blood? I know a constable who was taken in a very sensitive operation, and he was asked to kill a sentry of the dacoit gang. A sentry was concealing himself, and he was asked to do a sniper's job, to take a shot and kill him. The constable said, I can shoot well, sir. You're ordering me. But sir, I have not killed anyone in cold blood. If he fires at me first, the law requires that I can shoot in self-defense. Sir, as of now, I can't kill anyone in cold blood. When this exchange was going on, the sentry got rid of it, and the first article was at this constable. He got a gunshot injury, a bullet injury, not once but twice, around the liver and the lungs area. And blood started coming out of the nose, mouth. He knew that the end was near. The British officer, he took out a hip flask from his hip and said, you are in so much of pain, I know you will die. Can I give you some brandy? It will actually give you some rest. It will assuage your feeling of pain. You see the answers. What great answer this man gives. He said, for all my life, I have been a teetotaler, sir. Now when I am going to my Father and my Creator, I would not like to go with a tainted mouth. I think as a constable, he was more than a general, sir. As a constable, he has more character and a bigger karmyogi than the field marshal. And these are the people who are the salt of this earth and the salt of this society, on whom we look upon. There are those in Lucknow where I come from, sir, who have hundreds and hundreds of crores. And when the CBI raids them in the houses, the only son says, Papa, why did you do it? And I did it for you. And I am ashamed that you are my father, sir. I am ashamed that you are my father. And committed suicide. The only son of the senior bureaucrat. Who is greater? The senior most bureaucrat? Or this just petty soldier? Not you and I would call highly educated. I think if I were to touch his feet, I would be hallowed and my generation would be hallowed. These are karmyogis we talk of. These are the people on whom the society can build, men and women of steel. We place too much of emphasis on life. What is life? Yudhishthir was asked, which is one of the most glorious truths, that every day man sees people dying around him, but he feels that he is eternal, he will die. He lives as if there is no death for him, there is no end for him. The fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, that when Raja Dashrath saw the first white hair at the temple, Shravan Sameep Bhaye Shuddha Kesha, Shravan Sameep, kaan ke nazdeek jab baal unhone safed dekha, this is the time to renounce and make your son the heir and give him the empire. This, as the saying goes, that the first white hair is a reminder from the Almighty that you are on today's field. Now with all the faxes, emails and the messages that I have that your time is over, I decide to die then. I decide to concede that I am growing old, that I am going to death, I am growing, nearing my end. I celebrate my birthday with bigger vengeance. I put on a black t-shirt, nothing wrong with a black t-shirt at your age, but at my age, perhaps I wear a black shirt, this is black intentions and cover my black deeds. I dye my hair in black to cover my black deeds and with black motives. Put on tight jeans. Imagine a man of 60 years of age putting black t-shirt, black jeans, dyeing his hair and doing things that will put even a teenager to shame. Then they say कि साहब बच्चे सुनते नहीं। अरे बच्चे क्या सुनेंगे? आप तो सुनते नहीं अपनी। बच्चे क्या सुनेंगे? You bolt yourself behind the closed doors and do things that are immoral and illegitimate, and you expect your children to be Devi and Devtas. Sir, there is something wrong in our society. There is something blatantly wrong with our society, and it's time that Manishi is like to do something about it. I am born of a very humble background, sir. When I had to go to America, my parents, my father, man of very few words, never did he speak two sentences to me. And there was something like a curfew. If he used to sit in one room, we all would go to the other. When he was to the other room, he would go leave that room. So when the talk of my going to America, not that we were very poor, but he said, Vikram, you seem to be a little upset because of the fact of the expenses involved in your going to America. Papa, yes, there is the consideration, but don't worry. We have ancestral land. We have a house, your mother has jewelry. We'll first sell the ancestral land, then we'll sell the house, then we'll sell your mother's jewelry. If still that does not meet your expenses, first I will sell my kidney, then your mother will sell the kidney. You see, I'm not speaking of a pipe dream. My own parents said what the birds did in that parable of Swamiji Maharaj. My parents were the living embodiments. That is, today I worship that if I have seen God, I have seen God in my parents. Swamiji narrates the other story of the Vyad Gita, of a sannyasi praying in solitude, practicing austerities in solitude. And in the course, when he looks up, by the very sheer strength of his austerities, he was able to burn the crow and the crane that put their dropping on the Swamiji. Now this sannyasi thought that he had attained everything that the world has to offer, the spiritual, and he went to beg for his alms. When he went to a house, the lady of the house took a little while before giving him the alms. And then he said, probably she does not know who I am and how spiritually advanced I am. The lady answered from the side, son, don't think I am a crow or that crane. I am attending to my husband and I will be with you in 5 minutes. So, mother, how did you know that I had just burnt a crow and a crane? Then nothing. I just attend to my husband, look after him, absolutely devoted to my husband and nurse him. And my guru is a Vyad. Vyad means a butcher. And the whole Mahabharata, there is the episode as the Vyad Gita. The lady goes, that sannyasi goes to the Vyad, and he was absolutely shocked to see that this man dealing in meat, cutting meat and then selling it off. And he said, yes, what can I do? That lady has sent to you. My disciple said, yes. He was not able to convince that this Vyad and a realized soul. But ultimately, when the Vyad takes it, look, I have destitute parents whom I look after, whom I nurse, whom I bathe, whom I look after. I massage their feet. And this is, I make honest living by doing honest business. And this is all the religion that I have. You don't have to stand on it. We don't have to stand on our heads. We don't have to do anything that is supernatural. Anything that is extraordinary, some asana or some kriya that looks so very bewitching. Be natural. When you feel hungry, eat. When you feel like sleeping, sleep. When you are hungry, eat whatever you want. Without injuring anyone. Without being selfish. Please understand the difference between joy and happiness. Yes, America has a lot of fun. Because if there is a container of ice cream on a burger, it will be eaten by the person who holds it. And it is momentary. It gives you fun only as long as you don't consume that bucket of ice cream and that burger. India has joy. Because that ice cream and burger will be distributed to the most needy and will keep me on the moral and the spiritual high for the rest of my life. That is why Swamiji says, those who live on dhan, they are the highest people. The sattvic people give dhan because it is in their property to give dhan. The rajasic person gives dhan so that he may get a bigger dhan. His photos may come out in the press. People may say that he is the biggest dani in Kanpur. The tamasic person is incapable of giving a dhan. To the contrary, he is capable of putting his hand in your pocket and throat and taking out whatever. Professor Devashish Banerjee sir of IIM Lucknow, a very illustrious scholar and currently director IIM Kozhikode. He says that when I went to America, I found the entire American industry trying to put its hand, program my mind into becoming money-minded. First to take money out of my pocket and then to give me money so that I can make more money from it. And the third day, I left America and came back. My purpose is not to say they have their own culture, God bless them, God bless America, God bless everyone. Then there's another story, I will not take the name of that sadhu because he's still living. He was invited by his disciple to America. He got a visa, sir, for 2 years and he returned in 2 days. Unka Maharaj, why did you return in 2 days? The person like me who has no family, who has not touched money for 5 years, when I went that people were doing aarti, when I saw dollars, $50, $100, my mind went over time calculating and translating them into rupees. Unka Baba, a person like you, if he has put a calculator and started counting money here, this is what has happened in 12 hours, what will happen after 2 years? You better go. If you know what is good for you, please go. So that was the time I returned and told my American visa never to return. It is not the question of America. Please don't mistake that. It is the question that money should not possess me. Money is a good servant if you are a karmyogi, but a very bad master. Swamiji tells of another story about a mongoose. I'll just take 5 minutes and then you have observations. The mongoose, when in the Shantipada, when the Pandavas won, they had a great yagna, and in the yagna, they said that this is perhaps the biggest yagna, the grandest yagna that the world has ever seen. And then came a mongoose, half gold and half brown. You are absolute liars. I have seen a bigger yagna. And that yagna that is why I am half in gold. I tell you the story how I became half in gold. It is like this, that there was a famine for 3 years in this land. There was nothing to eat and there was a poor Brahmin family. The husband, the wife, the son and the daughter-in-law. One day the old Brahmin was able to get some barley flour for himself. He made 4 shares, one for himself, one for his wife, one for his son and one for his daughter, and asked his wife to cook for them. But the moment she was ready to cook, she cooked. There was a knock at the door and there was a guest. The guest said, I am very hungry, can you give me food? Now this family that was starving for weeks together, the householder said, it is my duty as the householder to give you my flour first. Then the wife follows, the guest said, I am hungry. Then the son said, it is my share. And then the daughter-in-law. After leaving the food, it was actually Dharmaraj who had come in life to test their family. He blessed all of them and went away. But the family of 4 died because of starvation and hunger. The mongoose said, when I went to that family, a few grains of barley was left, and when I rolled into that, I have become gold. I have yet to come across any other yagna or any other sacrifice which is higher than that. My young friends, it is in the capacity, it may not be in our capacity to become cent percent Swami Vivekananda Maharaj. It may not be in our capacity to become cent percent the golden mongoose, but it is within our aspiration to become at least a dust of his feet. It is within your and my capacity to become the dust of that mongoose. What is life? It is like a dewdrop on a lotus. Aaj hai kal nahi rahegi. Let us not be like that elderly bureaucrat who ties his hair. Nothing wrong in dyeing it. Nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong in wearing. But we seem to be backing the wrong horses. We seem to be backing the wrong kind of people. राम नाम सत्य. मरने वाले के लिए हम लोग कहते हैं राम नाम सत्य. मरने वाला नहीं कहता ना, होता है काम नाम सत्य. काम नाम सत्य. अगर कल हिमा माली से मुलाकात हो जाए तो मजा आता है. ये विस्की पी ले तो मजा आ जाए. मरने वाला नहीं कहता कि राम नाम सत्य कहूं मेरे. इट इज काम नाम सत्य. इवन द मैन अबाउट टू डाई की सारी जिंदगी धोखा खाया, 75 मुंह में दांत नहीं, पेट में आंत नहीं. no intestine in the stomach and no sins. But he said, if I were to take this whiskey double malt, I will not do double malt, perhaps I'll be very happy. If I am able to just have the direct sight of Hema Malini, I'll be very happy. He does not want to die. Those who are old and elderly, perhaps we think that they are beyond. The fact remains that like old bureaucrat with black t-shirt and black hair and black beads, I dare say. मुर्दे भी ये कर देते हैं, मुर्दों के साथ तो करते ही हैं, मुर्दे भी ये करते हैं. Cleopatra, one of the most beautiful women to have died. 10 days after her death, her grave was desecrated and the dead body removed. What happened? The then Sultan said that at least 10,000 people must have done things that are absolutely unmentionable in this august gathering. Look at the depravity of the human mind. Look at the depravity of the human mind. And last but not the least, Swamiji says in his Karma Yoga, when you give oblations of sacrifice, sacrifice an ounce of your ego every day so that you become egoless. So that you become egoless. They alone live who live for others. Others are more dead than alive. At the end of the day, joy and happiness, joy and fun. Fun is what I do for myself. You give me a cookie, I eat it, it becomes fun. I give it to my driver, it becomes joy. I give it to the needy, it becomes joy. My good wishes, dear friends, again my felicitations that you are the cream of the cream, you are the best. May the Gyan and Vigyan of Karma Yoga Swamiji make you Mrityunjay. My good wishes and blessings to all of you. If I can share
today's youth, actually, there is a continuous decline in the morality and ethics. So, what can we advise the youth to keep the morality and ethics level high, so that the society will not go again down and down and down?
A very good question, but I can say that there is nothing wrong with the youth. There are no bad soldiers, there are only bad generals. There are no bad children, there are only bad parents, as well balanced. First, get our priorities right. Let us get behind consumerism. Let us get behind crime, hedonism and violence. Do not allow clowns, braggarts and actors to be our role models. Let us not put the begging bowls before fashion TV, MTV. He is your role model. Let us prioritize on him. As I said before, if today it is Swami Vivekananda Maharaj's birthday, you will have just limited number of people. So what? Jesus Christ did not have more than 13 followers when he died. But if today there is a fashion show, there will be Lathi charge. I am not concerned with that. Let those who want to sing lullabies go. But it is for parents, teachers, and the enlightened youth like you to bring about the change and bring about that transformation. And I am sure you will do it. One conversion, 1% taking a vow of social service, and you have done it. You are a one-person army.
Sir, in the recent past, I am reading the Swami Vivekananda Sahitya and all these things. The question I want to ask you is that in the current status, India does not have that taste in science. So how religion can drive the science, and by using the power of spirituality, can India be a giant in the field of science or not? Because both of the study of different field. One is the study of outside field, and one is the inner world, study of inner world. So, do they seem to be converged at some point, or can they one drive to other? Can spirituality help empowering the science?
What a wonderful question, and I'm so happy that you asked. What's a good name, please? Let me tell you, Swami Vivekananda will answer your question, and the answer is, if you do yoga, if you are an enlightened person in yoga, you will be a better student, a better nationalist, a better scientist, a better husband, a better son, and if you are a thief, a better thief also. Because your energies of concentration and meditation, your mental faculties will take a high, will be made so sharp and appropriate that you will be the best wherever you are. I remember when I was your age, I am the National Academy of Administration, Mr. M. Vadhaiwala ICSK, a Parsi, not a Hindu, and he said, if you want to be a good bureaucrat, the best bureaucrat, please read Swami Vivekananda and his country. Without Swami Vivekananda, you cannot be a good bureaucrat at a public service. You can do tremendous public service by being a yogi. When you become a yogi, you become a better scientist and a better student. In fact, not the better, you are the best scientist. If you read the biography of Einstein and other scholars, you will find that they were yogis. They may not have been initiated into yoga, but they were yogis. They would get up in Brahma Muhurt. They have total application of mind. Kar, Cheshta, Bahu, Dhyanam, Shwana, Nidra, Alpahari, Grijityaki, all the ingredients of scholarly people were in there. Somebody gave a check of $1 million when $1 million meant a lot to Albert Einstein. He was an aparigrahi. He used that check as a bookmark. He did never use that $1 million, never. His concentration was such, R.W. Emerson, that he was sitting in his library working on some project. His friend came, the maid servant came with the breakfast. The friend ate up all the breakfast. And when Emerson got up, he saw the empty breakfast tray and his friend, oh, you have come so late, I just finished breakfast, otherwise you would have shared the breakfast. He did not realize that perhaps the breakfast came. The friend ate up the breakfast and he was totally oblivious of the fact because he was a yogi at heart. All of you should become yogis and you become a better scientist and better IITs.
Sir,
Yes, please.
you told about Karma Yogi and Karma Yoga. What is the Karma Yogi and what is the Karma Yoga? Nowadays, who is the Karma
If I
Yogi?
were to give it in one sentence, all of you have to do some karma or the other. The karma can be defined into two ways. Either it is a selfish karma or it is an unselfish karma. If it is done for the self, only for the self, there is nothing wrong in it. But with an ulterior motive, aggrandizement, it doesn't do any good to you. But when a karma is done for the benefit of society, for others at large, when it is self-abnegation, self-denial, then it is a positive karma and generates you with a lot of positive energy. And that is what karma yoga is all about. Self-denial, doing greater good for the greater good, doing shubha karma, doing good to society. As of now, as Swamiji said, my life is like that of a dog that has strayed into some kitchen. I am biting there, trying to get things for myself. And therefore, I will behave like a dog. Swamiji wants that as a karma yogi, I should go like a lion. Do what I can do for the welfare of the society. Be brave. And a true person who is brave and fearless is one who is ahimsak. Because once he is ahimsak, he is Ajatashatru. And who is Ajatashatru is fearless. But I strongly recommend a small book, not of 120 pages. Please go through Karma Yoga and all your doubts will be answered. The complete works, volume 1, the first chapter is on Karma Yoga. It will not take you more than 2 hours to go through that, and I think all your questions will be answered. Work, we turn our back towards selfish intents, we turn our face towards positive actions. This is Karma Yoga.
So, the two aspects that you discussed, the joy and the fun, do they always go separately or do they ever go hand in hand together? Like if you start giving before getting the personal achievement, will it lead to complete detachment from the world or like sannyasi or something?
First, attain that platform. What I'm telling you, as an IIT student, you have a pocket money. It may be as little as 100 rupees, but it may be as much as 5,000 rupees. How you invest your pocket money, how you spend your, because all of us have been given some assets, time, money and effort. Am I using all my energy and time to visit nightclubs and viewing pornographic material on the internet? Am I using my faculties for the growth of society, for the underprivileged, for the downtrodden, for the weaker sections? That is joy. If I have a pocket money, do I see that a person is in the requirement of a blanket, I give him a blanket and deny myself a designer jacket? That is joy. All of us have been programmed either to go. I have two options at every moment, the pray and the shame. Pray is desirable. I get a cone of ice cream, that I should eat it myself. Yes, there is nothing wrong, ice cream is a way to be eaten. But if I were to live on ice cream, I will become obese, like me, I have put on 100 kilos, then these will start buckling down. But if I were to share a part of whatever I earn, that will be a source of joy. Not.
I request all of you to please stand and give a honorary solution to the sir for this inspiring talk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for those indeed energizing and eye-opening words. We promise you that you would strive hard to be steel inside and die free. I would now request Professor B.P. Mishra to present a shawl and memento to Dr. Singh as a token of reverence and gratitude.